She remembers the small things, the way you take your coffee. Black, no sugar, extra hot. She remembers it without trying. She remembers the day you got that email from your boss, the one that made your jaw tighten. You didn't say much about it. But she saw your face change at dinner, and she never forgot it. She remembers your shoe size, the name of the street you grew up on, the way you laugh harder at your own jokes than anyone else does. Most people think this is just a good memory. It's not. It's a decision. A woman doesn't memorize random facts about everyone she meets. She doesn't carry around the name of your childhood dog, or the way you go quiet when you're stressed, or your exact order at the diner you went to twice last year. She carries that because somewhere, without announcing it, she chose you. And once you understand that, you start to see relationships differently. You stop asking, does she like me? You start asking, what has she chosen to remember about me? Because the answer to that question tells you more than any conversation ever could. There's a difference between being noticed and being seen. Being noticed is easy. Anyone can notice you. A stranger notices your shoes. A coworker notices you're late. A waiter notices you ordered the steak. Noticing takes no effort and no investment. It happens in passing. It doesn't ask anything of the person doing it. Being seen is different. Being seen means someone is paying attention on purpose. They're not just looking at you. They're studying you. Quietly. Patiently. Building a picture of who you are, piece by piece, conversation by conversation. When a woman remembers small details, she's not noticing you anymore. She's seeing you. And seeing takes work. It takes attention she didn't have to give. It takes memory she didn't have to use. It takes care she didn't have to show. Think about how many conversations a person has in a single week. Dozens, maybe hundreds of small exchanges. Most of them disappear by the next day. The brain isn't built to hold on to everything. It filters. It forgets. That's normal. So when something doesn't get filtered out, when a detail survives weeks or months in someone's memory, that's not random. That's significance. Her mind kept it because some part of her marked it as important. Marked you as important. That's why it matters. Not because remembering is rare, but because choosing to remember is rare. Think about the moments that prove this. She remembers the show you mentioned once months ago in passing, almost as an afterthought. And now it's loading on the TV before you even ask, because she filed it away the first time you said it. She remembers you don't like cilantro, so she quietly checks the ingredients before she orders for both of you. You never even notice she's doing it. That's the point. She's not doing it for credit. She remembers the exact week your dad was in the hospital, and every year, around that time, she checks in. Not because you reminded her, because she never forgot, because that week changed something in you, and she was paying close enough attention to feel it too. She remembers the story you told about being the last kid picked for the team in 3rd grade. A small, forgettable thing you mentioned once, half joking, but she heard the part underneath the joke. And somehow years later, she still treats you a little more gently when you feel left out of something. She remembers your coffee order, your sleep schedule, the side of the bed you prefer, the way you get quiet before you get angry instead of after. These aren't grand gestures. Nobody posts about them online. There's no anniversary post, no big speech, no moment of public proof. But they are proof. Proof that you live in her mind even when you're not in the room. Proof that somewhere along the way, she stopped treating you like everyone else. That kind of memory doesn't happen by accident. It happens because she's chosen again and again, in small invisible moments, to pay attention to you. And every time she remembers something small, she's quietly renewing that choice. Here's something worth sitting with. Big gestures are easy to fake. Anyone can plan a surprise trip once. Anyone can buy flowers for an anniversary. Anyone can say the right thing in the moment with an audience watching, with the pressure to perform. But nobody fakes remembering your coffee order 8 months later. Nobody fakes checking in on the anniversary of your dad's hospital stay. Nobody fakes noticing you're quieter than usual on a random Tuesday. Small details can't be staged. That's what makes them the realest form of proof. If someone only shows up for the big moments, the birthdays, the anniversaries, the planned dates, that tells you something. It tells you they can perform connection when it's expected of them. But if someone remembers the small, unplanned, unimportant, seeming things, that tells you something different. It tells you they were paying attention even when nobody was watching, even when there was nothing to gain from it. That's the real signal. Not the loud moments, the quiet ones. Now here's the part most men miss. This isn't something you either have or don't have. It's not luck. It's not just chemistry. It's not something only certain people are capable of. It's something you can build starting today in the next conversation you have. If you want to be remembered, start remembering first. Notice her small habits. The way she stirs her tea 3 times before she drinks it. The thing she always says when she's nervous. The show she watched as a kid that she still talks about with a kind of softness in her voice. The way her tone shifts slightly when she talks about her mother. Pay attention on purpose, not because you're trying to impress her. Not because you read somewhere that remembering details is a move. Do it because you actually want to know her. The intention behind it matters more than the act itself. People can feel the difference between someone collecting facts about them and someone genuinely curious about who they are. One feels like a transaction. The other feels like care. The truth is, being seen is rarely about big moments. It's about small ones repeated over time. It's 1,000 quiet choices to pay attention when nobody's watching, when there's no reward, when no one will ever know you did it. That's what builds real connection, not grand declarations. Memory, attention, consistency. And here's the thing about consistency. It compounds. One remembered detail doesn't mean much on its own, but 10 remembered details stacked over months start to form something solid. They start to form trust. They start to form the quiet feeling of being known. That feeling, the feeling of being known, is rarer than people think. Most relationships today are loud on the outside and empty on the inside. Lots of photos, lots of public affection, but very little actual knowing, very little memory of the small things that make a person who they are. If you can offer that real attention, real memory, real consistency, you're offering something most people never receive in their entire lives. If you're a woman watching this and you've ever wondered whether someone truly sees you, look at what they remember, not what they say in the moment, what they carry afterward. Words are easy. Anyone can say the right thing once, but memory doesn't lie. Memory shows you where someone's attention actually goes when they're not performing for you. And if you're someone who remembers the small things about another person, know that what you're doing matters more than you think. It might feel like nothing. It might feel like just paying attention. But to the person on the receiving end, it can feel like being fully known for the first time. Don't underestimate what it means to someone when you remember the small things. In a world full of noise and distraction, that kind of attention is rare. It stands out. It lasts. So ask yourself something. What's one small detail someone remembered about you? A moment when you realized, without anyone saying it out loud, that you mattered to them. Maybe it was a coffee order. Maybe it was a date they never forgot. Maybe it was something you said once in passing that they brought up months later, word for word. Sit with that moment for a second. Notice how it made you feel. Now think about the people in your life. Are you giving that same kind of attention back? Are you remembering the small things, the quiet things, the things nobody will ever ask you to remember? Drop your answer in the comments. Let someone else read it and feel a little less alone. You might be surprised how many people are carrying the same kind of memory, waiting for a reason to share it. And if this hit something in you, hit subscribe. Because we're going to keep talking about the things that actually build connection, not the loud stuff, the quiet stuff. The stuff that lasts long after the big moments are forgotten, because in the end, anyone can notice you. Being seen is something you earn,